Hi guys, welcome to gymnastics. It's Friday and this is our third lesson of our online gymnastics. On Monday we had our stretching, and on Wednesday we had body positions for our younger kids, and today's lesson is going to be more for our more advanced level kids. Our 5 and up kids should be able to do some of the exercises, but it is definitely more for our older kids and more advanced children that are in our advanced team level, girls and boys. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the difference between bridges and back bends and walkovers. So most of the event kids should be aware of that, but sometimes I think they get confused on the names of things, and I wanted to spend just a few minutes going over that to help with the confusion. So the first thing we're going to talk about is bridges. So bridges are when kids are laying down on their back. They're going to go in a layout position. We do this almost every single week with all of our 5 and up classes. So a layout position is laying down, straight, tight body, arms squeezed by the ears tight, hands not together but side by side, and legs squeezed tight together with those straight legs and pointed toes that we talked about the other day. So that's that position, laying down. And then from that position, they're going to open their knees slightly, push their knees up, and then they're going to make their elbow mountains, and then they're going to push their stomach up in the air. Our 5 and ups, the goal is for them to be able to push their head up off the floor. We want straight arms if possible, but we don't want their head resting on the floor, and we don't want them to pick their hands up. So it's very, very important that only their feet and their hands are on the floor, even if they only push up just a little bit. If it's really, really a struggle for the 5-year-olds, then I would suggest just making the table position. I'll turn to the side so you can see that a little bit better. The table position, so that they're still working on their arm strength and they're working on where their leg position will be, but they're not putting that stress on trying to use their muscles to push their head off the floor yet. Our advanced level kids should be able to push up in that bridge and hold that position for a good 15 to 20 seconds without their head touching, with straight arms. And our more advanced level kids should be able to put their feet together and push with straight legs. That pushing with straight legs works on that shoulder placement that we want them to develop for their walkovers, and that is pushing the shoulders over the hands so that they're in a straight line from the where their hands are on the floor to their shoulders, instead of more of an arched position. They're kind of in a half rainbow position. So that's what we're striving for when we're doing our bridges. Now a back bend is standing up and leaning backwards and putting their hands on the floor. That's actually what we call a back bend. So they're going to stand with their feet slightly apart. So we're going to stand approximately this far apart. Sometimes the kids want to do it with their feet together. So we want to be sure that their feet are slightly apart and that their arms are close together. So squeeze, sometimes we say squeeze their ears, but they need to at least be close together, not reaching out like this when they go to arch back. So that when their hands are on the floor, they would be basically in that same position they would be in when they pushed from here, pushed up into their bridge. So for our friends that are in the advanced class that are working on standing bridges, then you know the drills that we work on. Any of the kids that are in the beginner level class, the K plus class, should not be doing bridges on their own without it being worked with them by an instructor first. If they say you're ready to try it, then you can work on trying it at home. But otherwise, parents, you should not be allowing them to do it on their own. It's very easy for them to do a wrong hand placement when they go to put their hands back. When they go backwards, and they can hurt themselves, or they can fall flat to their back and knock the wind out of them. And lots of times that causes a setback in the sport. So we don't want them trying things at home that they haven't worked on in the gym. So there again, like I said, that standing back bend is definitely more of an advanced skill. If your child's worked on it in the gym, then they know whether their coaches gave them the okay to do it on their own, or whether they need to just keep getting help. And hopefully in the next few weeks when we're back in the gym, we can work on that some more with them. The position that we're going to work on next, or the skill we're going to work on next, is the back walkover. On our advanced level, kids should all have been working back walkovers or back bend kickovers. The back walkover is the continual motion of going from standing straight up with their arms by their ears, lifting a leg, and then kicking over all in one motion. So they're going to start in this position with their foot on the floor, and as they progress, then they will eventually start with their leg up. And as they come out of that skill, they're going to come out with their leg up and then put their hands up as they come up out of the skill, and they're going to land in a lunge. A lunge position is bent leg, straight leg, and toes pointed outward. So the front foot is turned part of the way out, and the back foot is turned part of the way out the other direction. And the reason why they do that is so eventually we'll hopefully be doing that on the balance beam, and that's going to help them be able to stick that landing on the beam. For my friends that have been working back walkovers that may have suddenly lost their back walkover, I think it's fine for dads or moms to step in there and give them a little extra support on their back. Just be sure that you are strong enough to be able to hold them up if they quit in the middle, which happens sometimes, especially when they get scared. So just be sure that you are spotting a skill that you feel comfortable with. And if you don't, then I would just work on the standing back bend with the kickover. One of the things that's real helpful for them to get the kickover part of the standing back bend or the bridge kickover is for them to work on pushing their shoulders over their hands. So a great drill for that is to have them lay down with their head close to the wall, and then their fingers are going to make that elbow mountain, and you're going to have them push up into their bridge and work on trying to put their chest against the wall, pushing with their legs, trying to put their chest against the wall. And yeah, it kind of smushes your face a little bit, but they can turn their head to the side while they're doing that, working on pushing their chest forward. So that's a great drill for all of the kids, even our beginners, to work on that skill. Some of them are not going to have that shoulder flexibility to be able to do that easily. And as I spoke about on Monday, flexibility is something that some kids get naturally. It's easy for them, and some kids are really going to struggle with that flexibility, which is what makes these walkover skills a little bit harder for some kids more than others. So if your kid is having a hard time with it, don't stress out about it. Just keep working on the flexibility skills, and that will help a whole lot with that. The next skill I'm going to talk about is a front limber or front walkover or a handstand to a bridge. So basically they're working on that kicking position, kicking up to a handstand, and then they're going to arch over into that bridge position with their feet slightly apart, hands and arms staying nice and strong, and holding that bridge. To begin with, they're going to lay down after they do that position. They don't have to hold it. They're just going to go to the bridge. As soon as they get in that bridge position, lay down, relax, hug their knees, rock and roll to keep their back stretched out good. And then the next skill they will work on is going handstand to a bridge and then holding that bridge, really working on pushing with their arms straight, and their leg separation, and then kind of work on rocking themselves forward to be able to lift themselves up off the floor. It's a hard skill as far as strength-wise and flexibility, but it's also an easier skill for parents to help their children get up out of. If you wanted to put your hands behind them and help them up out of their front limber. A front walkover is a little bit harder to spot, and in that they're going to start in that same position we would start in a back walkover with their leg up, and then they would kick into their bridge, walk over 1 foot at a time instead of actually going to 2 feet in and standing up. So that's a little bit harder skill that some of the girls have already started working on, and the ones that are comfortable doing it to the 1 foot are usually an easier spot. But once again, parents, don't be spotting skills if you don't feel comfortable with it. I always know that you can message me or ask me questions online, and I'll be glad to help you with that. if I can offer advice, you should never ever spot a child that you don't feel comfortable with, that you don't have the strength to be able to hold them up, just because of the fact that they might, in the middle of the skill, stop doing their job. So a couple of other things I want to talk to, especially my advanced girls about, and you already know this, but I also know that when you're not in the gym every day, you kind of might be slacking off a little bit, and when you come back to the gym, it's really going to show. So, advanced girls and boys, work on your routines. If you've forgotten your routines and you have your routine sheets, if you don't have your sheets, let your parents send me a message and I will send them along, because we really want to be sure that we're on top of that. For my teen kids, it is very likely our next meet will be postponed until May, and we want to do what's safe for everybody, so we're going to wait to see what that gym decides, but that looks like what's going to happen at this moment, but I don't know for sure, and I will certainly let you know as soon as I know. That's one of the reasons why it's so important that we keep working on remembering the routine and the skills in the routine, and all of the particulars and things that go into that. Especially working on your splits, which a lot of you don't necessarily work on every day. Working on holding your splits. That beautiful split is going to be gorgeous when you do your walkovers, and even kicking into your handstands. So working on those, also working on your turns, your 1-foot turns, especially your 1-foot turns, your lock turns where you're squeezing those feet together and you're doing your lock turns. So those are things that you really need to work on. And I think that we have a lot to look forward to in gymnastics, and I think it's going to be a very good experience for us all to use this extra time that we have at home to focus on these skills that you need to remember and work on. So don't get discouraged about not being in the gym. We got time to make things up and get where we need to be. Your working at home will help make that happen. So I hope you have a great rest of your Friday, and I will see you again very soon, I hope. And on Monday, we're going to work on balance and balancing skills. So I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.